In the vast savannas of southern Africa, where the land stretched beyond the horizon and the drumbeats of warriors echoed through the valleys, the Ndebele kingdom stood strong. Founded by Mzilikazi Khumalo, the kingdom was built on courage, strategy, and unity. After Mzilikazi's passing, the mantle of leadership fell upon his son, Lobengula, a man of towering strength, wisdom, and a heart burdened by the weight of his ancestors. For years, Lobengula ruled with justice and might. His warriors were feared, his cattle multiplied, and his people thrived. But as the sun of his reign reached its peak, a shadow crept over the land, one that whispered of treachery, greed, and a battle for the soul of a nation. The king and his people. Lobengula was a king of contrasts. He was a warrior, yet cautious, a leader, yet plagued by doubt. Around him stood his trusted generals and advisors. General Lotcha, a man who believed in diplomacy, constantly urged the king to seek peace with the white men who arrived with promises of trade and wealth. But on the other side stood Nduna Mbiko, a fiery warrior who saw through the deception and called for war. In the royal court, voices clashed over the arrival of Leander Starr Jameson, a British envoy sent by Cecil Rhodes, a man obsessed with expanding his empire. Jameson came bearing gifts, sweet words, and a piece of parchment, the Rudd Concession, a document that, if signed, would hand over vast lands and resources to the British. Among those who watched with concern was Princess Tholakele, Lobengula's fearless sister. Unlike the men who debated endlessly, she took action, secretly rallying warriors who shared her vision to resist at all costs. The treacherous pact. Despite his suspicions, Lobengula agreed to negotiations, hoping to protect his people from unnecessary bloodshed. He had heard of the British rifles and the terrible new weapon called the Maxim gun, which could kill dozens in mere moments. If war broke out, would his warriors stand a chance? Guided by conflicting advice, the king hesitated. But with pressure mounting and lies thickening in the air, Lobengula placed his royal seal on the document. The British smiled. The deal was done. But the ink had not yet dried before the truth emerged. The British had deceived him. What was promised as a trade agreement was, in reality, a surrender of sovereignty. The lands of the Ndebele were now claimed under the British South Africa Company. The betrayal had begun. The wrath of a kingdom. When the people learned of the deception, rage spread like wildfire. Nduna Mbiko called for war. Princess Tholakele and her secret warriors took up arms. Even Chief Sivalo, a wise elder who had warned against trusting the British, prepared his people for battle. Lobengula, caught between regret and responsibility, gave the order. The British must be driven out. The drums of war thundered across the land as the Ndebele warriors, adorned in red and black battle regalia, marched to reclaim their home. But they were not prepared for what lay ahead. The fall at Pashu. The decisive battle took place at Pashu, where the Ndebele warriors charged with unmatched bravery. They fought with assegais and cowhide shields, their war cries shaking the heavens. But the British had come prepared. The Maxim guns spat fire and death, cutting down warriors before they could even reach the enemy. It was a massacre. The ground was soaked with the blood of men who had once been invincible. Lobengula, witnessing the destruction of his people, made a heartbreaking decision. He would not allow himself to be captured. Gathering his remaining warriors, he disappeared into the wilderness, leaving behind a burning kingdom and a broken dream.